Welcome, dear students, in the digital realm of wisdom. In this video, we are going to talk about the early farmers. Maybe the most important step that mankind has made in its long existence. Learning how to grow your own food. This step was made in a period which we call the Neolithicum era. And therefore we also call it the Neolithic Revolution. But we can also call it the Farmers' Revolution or the Agricultural Revolution. Agriculture meaning farming, being able to grow your own crops. This invention happened at several places independently, in Mesopotamia, but also in India and in South America. People invented ways to grow their own food. But the first place where it happened was Mesopotamia. Around 10,000 before Christ, it happened in what we now call the Middle East. It became a very fertile place, a place where the ground was very good for farming and there was a lot of food that could be farmed. That's important. You can have fertile ground, but if you can't grow anything on the fertile ground, you cannot farm. So it starts in Mesopotamia. And that had to do with a changing climate. It was the end of the Ice Age and the world was slowly getting warmer, meaning that the environment changed and made it possible to make that step in the Middle East. Now, this is a very important step because I said hunter-gatherers discover a way to grow their own food and become farmers. We will discuss the effects of that in a different video, but you can imagine it has big effects. It has big effects, but it was a very slow process. We call it a revolution, and normally a revolution goes quick, but this revolution took thousands of years, a very long period, because they didn't start building big farms immediately. It was a small step. Somebody found out you could grow something on a fixed place, and then they would do that. But sometimes it didn't work, so they had to go back to hunting and gathering. And next to growing crops, they still had to hunt because they did not immediately have their own animals. So it was a very slow process which took thousands of years to develop and then thousands of years to spread over the world. As I already said in the video about the hunter-gatherers, there are still people who haven't made that step, who still live like they are hunter-gatherers. So it is an ongoing process. Not everyone has gone into farming yet. It's a slow process and it spreads very slowly. And it spreads from what we call the Fertile Crescent, de vruchtbare halve maan of de vruchtbare halve sikkel, which is the Middle East. From there it spread to Europe, also in small steps, only to come in the Netherlands around 5300 before Christ, where we have the first farmers in our region. And as you can see in the map in the top that just arrived, the Netherlands looked kind of different back then. So, to recuperate, a small summary. The early farmers, the first ones, started in Mesopotamia approximately 10,000 years ago, but there were other regions where people also independently, not influenced by people from Mesopotamia, invented ways to grow their own crop. different crops, of course. Then, from there on, this way of growing your own food slowly spread from Mesopotamia to Europe and from India to China and to Japan. And it also went into Africa, and it only reached the Netherlands around 5300 before Christ. Toodles!